The mysterious arrival and plea. Emerges empire. In the early light of dawn, when the world was still quiet and the air held a gentle chill, a strange sight appeared in the sky. A massive, dark object moved slowly over the horizon. It was unlike any aircraft or cloud the people had seen before. This was a spaceship, a giant vessel that seemed to come from a far-off land, or perhaps from a far-off world. In a small town on the edge of a great forest, the people woke to the low humming sound of the ship. Old Mr. Karim, who owned a little bakery, stepped outside to check the unusual light. His eyes widened in surprise as he saw the enormous craft hovering silently above his fields. He quickly called his neighbors, and soon the town square was filled with curious, anxious faces looking upward. At the same time, in the nearby city, news cameras began to capture the strange sight. The media scrambled to report on the event, and scientists hurried to the local university. Everyone felt a mix of fear and wonder. Who could come in such a silent, majestic manner? And why had it come now? The spaceship rested over the central park of the city, its smooth, metallic surface glinting in the early rays of the sun. Slowly, a small door opened along its side. No one on Earth had seen anything like it. From the door, a soft light emerged. The light grew brighter until a figure stepped out. The figure was not like any human being. It was tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like moonlight and eyes that shone with a deep, soft blue. This being did not move with aggression or haste. Instead, it walked slowly, almost as if it were testing the ground for the first time. In a calm, gentle voice, the alien spoke. The message was broadcast through speakers placed along the ship. "We come in peace. We seek your help. We are in need, and our people suffer. We ask you to listen and learn, to understand our plea for peace." The voice was soft and kind, yet there was a hint of sadness in every word. People around the city stopped to listen. They could feel the deep emotion in the sound. News channels replayed the message over and over. Some viewers felt hope, while others felt fear. The message spoke of pain, of loss, and of a desperate need for help. It was as if the alien was telling a story of a great empire far away, an empire that had once been proud and strong but was now crumbling. In the hours that followed, people from all walks of life began to react. The government quickly set up a meeting with top scientists and military leaders. They discussed the possibility that the spaceship might bring danger, or perhaps a chance for new knowledge and friendship. Yet the words of the alien echoed in their minds. There was a mystery behind this plea. Who were these beings, and what had happened to their empire? Dr. Elena, a well-known scientist, led one of the meetings. She believed that the aliens' message was a call for help from a dying civilization. "We must try to understand their story," she told the gathered officials. "Their words show pain, and their plea is sincere. But we must also be cautious. We do not know what lies behind this message." As the day went on, more aliens appeared near the ship. They gathered in small groups and looked toward the central figure. Their eyes held a deep sorrow. It was clear they were part of a great empire that had once flourished, a place of art and science, now reduced to desperation. They came not as conquerors, but as desperate travelers seeking refuge from their own suffering. In a quiet street, a young boy named Amir listened to the news with his family. He did not fully understand the words, but he could sense the sadness in the alien's voice. "They are like us," he thought. "They want help, and they feel pain. But why would someone from another world need help from us?" His innocent questions spread through his small community, and soon many began to wonder if this could be a chance for all of humanity to show kindness. At the same time, military leaders were on high alert. They set up perimeters and armed patrols, not to attack, but to protect the citizens. The nation was divided between those who hoped for a new friendship and those who feared a hidden danger. In the quiet moments before noon, the city was filled with a tense calm, as every person awaited the next sign from the alien visitors. The spaceship and its message had awakened a deep sense of unity and caution among the people. While fear gripped some hearts, A growing number of citizens saw an opportunity to help those in need. The alien plea was not just a cry for assistance. It was a call to show the best of humanity: compassion, understanding, and strength. As the day ended, the mysterious figure remained in the open field, a silent reminder of a distant empire in trouble. The questions lingered in the minds of all who had witnessed this event. What had happened to their empire? Could Earth be a safe haven for these gentle beings? And most importantly, could humanity rise to meet this unexpected call for help? In that moment, the world stood on the edge of a new chapter, one filled with uncertainty, hope, and the promise of a bond between two very different worlds. The mysterious arrival and the heartfelt plea would be remembered as the day when a new empire of hope began to emerge, not from the stars, but from the courage and kindness of those who dared to listen. The debate on Earth. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the world remained abuzz with talk of the mysterious spaceship and the heartfelt plea from beyond the stars. In a grand conference hall in the capital city, top officials, scientists, and military leaders gathered to discuss what the aliens had brought with them: a plea for help and a glimpse into a crumbling empire from far away. Inside the room, the atmosphere was tense but determined. The walls were lined with large screens showing live feeds of the alien ship hovering in the skies above various cities. Every face in the room was focused, reflecting both hope and worry. The event was historic, and each participant knew that the decisions made today could shape the future of all humanity. At the head of the table sat General Harris, a strong and experienced military leader known for his clear and steady approach. His eyes swept over the room, meeting those of his colleagues, scientists, diplomats, and advisors who had all been summoned to tackle the unknown challenge. General Harris spoke first, his voice firm and measured. "We have received a plea for peace, but we must consider every possibility. What if this is a trap? What if the aliens come with hidden dangers?" Dr. Elena, the scientist who had been the first to study the alien message, responded with calm assurance. "General, the tone of the message is gentle and sincere. There is a deep sadness in their voice that speaks of real suffering. I believe they truly need our help. However, we must be cautious and verify their intentions." Her words echoed in the room, setting the stage for a debate that would test the values of the leaders. Some officials, like Ambassador Reed, argued for immediate contact. "This could be our chance to learn and grow. We have the opportunity to build a new friendship with a race far more advanced than us. Let us show our compassion and open our doors to help," he said, his voice filled with optimism. Reed's words brought a spark of hope to those who saw the aliens as kind, desperate beings in need of shelter. On the other side, voices of caution filled the room. Colonel Stevens, a strict military advisor, warned, "We must not forget that history is filled with promises of peace that have turned into betrayal. Humanity has always survived by staying strong and independent. Let us not be swayed by pity alone." His words reminded everyone that strength and self-preservation were also important values, and that trust must be earned, not given freely. The debate grew heated as each side laid out their arguments. The room was filled with questions and concerns. "How can we be sure that their empire is not planning something more dangerous?" asked one of the defense ministers. "And what if this plea is just the beginning of an invasion?" countered another. The tension in the room was palpable, yet beneath the surface of the arguments, there was a shared desire to do what was right for Earth and for all living beings. In the midst of this discussion, a quiet voice spoke up. It was Maya, a young and passionate researcher known for her clear insight. "We must remember that this is not just about potential threats," she said softly. "It is about listening to a cry of sorrow from a lost empire. We have the chance to help, not only for our benefit, but for the sake of all life that suffers. Let us work together, combining our strength with our compassion." Her words resonated deeply, and for a moment, the room fell silent as everyone considered the possibility of offering help without sacrificing caution. General Harris nodded slowly, acknowledging the wisdom in Maya's words. "We will not act on emotion alone," he stated. "Our duty is to protect humanity, but also to explore every chance for peace and knowledge. We will set up a team to gather more information. The scientists will study the alien messages, and the military will prepare defense plans in case things turn sour." His plan offered a middle path, one that balanced compassion with caution. Over the next few hours, smaller groups formed within the conference hall to tackle different parts of the problem. One team, led by Dr. Elena, worked to analyze the alien signals and messages. They listened closely, taking careful notes, trying to understand every word and emotion in the alien plea. Their work was delicate and precise, as they hoped to uncover clues about the true nature of the alien empire and the reasons behind their desperate call for help. Another group, led by General Harris and Colonel Stevens, began drafting protocols. They planned for every possible scenario: a peaceful meeting, an unexpected betrayal, or even a full-scale defense if needed. Their discussions were pragmatic, filled with strategic language and careful plans. They made it clear that while Earth was willing to listen and help, it would not become vulnerable to any hidden threat. As the day wore on, the debate slowly started to shape a clear course of action. A decision emerged. Humanity would send a small, carefully selected delegation to engage with the aliens in a controlled environment. This team would include scientists, military experts, and diplomats, each chosen for their ability to combine reason with empathy. Their mission was simple: learn the truth about the aliens and their crumbling empire, and decide how best to help, if at all. Outside the conference hall, people across the nation watched the live broadcast with bated breath. The debate on Earth was not just a meeting of powerful figures. It was a symbol of the values that defined humanity. It was about balancing fear with hope, caution with kindness, and strength with compassion. In every home, on every street, ordinary people wondered, would we be the ones to offer a helping hand, or would we close our doors to a plea from the stars? The debate on Earth continued well into the evening, leaving behind a mix of determination and uncertainty. While not every question was answered, one truth emerged clearly. The arrival of the aliens had forced humanity to look inward, to examine what it truly meant to be strong, compassionate, and united in the face of the unknown. The decision to engage, cautiously yet openly, set the stage for the next chapter in this unfolding saga, a chapter that would test the very heart of humanity. The test of trust. In the days following the first contact, the tension on Earth grew. The alien message was not a one-time call. It was the start of a slow, continuous dialogue. Dr. Elena and her team had worked long hours, analyzing every sound and symbol in the alien communication. Their careful work revealed both hope and hidden hints of uncertainty in the words. The aliens spoke of great suffering and loss, a plea from a once glorious empire now facing darkness. Yet there was a lingering question in every message. Could their need be genuine, or was there a secret plan hidden behind their sorrowful words? The government decided that more direct communication was needed. A new, secure channel was set up to allow for a two-way conversation. The human delegation, which had been carefully selected for their balance of caution and compassion, began to exchange messages with the aliens. At first, the communication was simple: a series of questions about the state of their empire, requests for further details, and promises of possible help. With every exchange, however, the weight of trust grew heavier. General Harris watched over these interactions with a cautious eye. He remembered the many stories of past encounters between different cultures, where promises of friendship sometimes turned into betrayal. "Trust is not given freely," he often said. "It must be earned with clear actions." His words resonated with many, especially those who had seen too many false starts in history. Yet, as the dialogue continued, there were small signs that the alien plea might be sincere. Their messages grew more detailed, revealing a world of beauty and pain. A society that had built great art and technology, only to see it crumble under unforeseen disasters. The turning point came when the alien leaders sent a series of images and documents. These files, transmitted through the secure channel, showed ruined cities, desolate landscapes, and desperate citizens reaching out for help. One image, in particular, struck a chord with the human team. A grand hall, once filled with light and music, now lay in ruins with only broken statues and faded murals as reminders of its past glory. The visual evidence painted a picture of an empire that had lost its way. It was a story of hope that had faded, leaving behind only echoes of what had been. Maya, the young researcher who had once spoken so softly in the meeting room, now took center stage. With careful words, she explained what the team had discovered. These images show us a history of a people who once thrived. Their art, their culture, it all speaks of a passion for life. Now, all that remains are the scars of loss. This is not the work of invaders, but the result of tragedy and neglect. Her words helped to soften even the hardened hearts in the room. The evidence was hard to ignore, and slowly more of the delegation began to believe that the aliens' plea was genuine. Still, trust was a fragile thing. As more information came in, there were moments when the human team felt the familiar pull of doubt. Secret reports hinted that the aliens had been part of a larger group that might have other, less friendly intentions. Some military advisors reminded everyone that while the images were moving, they could be part of a careful plan to lower human defenses. The debate grew once again, with voices on both sides. Some argued that the images and messages should be enough to open a door of trust. Others warned that trusting too quickly might lead to unforeseen danger. In the quiet hours of a rainy night, General Harris walked alone in the compound's garden. The rain fell softly, and the sound of it hitting the leaves reminded him of the many decisions he had made over his long career. He knew that trust, once broken, could be impossible to rebuild, yet he also understood that if humanity was to step forward as a beacon of hope, they must risk trust. The question that haunted him was whether the aliens were truly asking for help or if they were testing Earth's resolve. The next morning, a decisive step was taken. The human delegation agreed to send a small team to a secure location where further communication could be made in person, albeit through advanced holograms and remote interfaces. This move was designed to test the aliens' commitment. The plan was simple. If the aliens were genuine, they would show consistent care in their responses. If there was deceit, any sign of manipulation or evasion would be noted immediately. During the test session, the aliens appeared on the screen as calm, sorrowful figures. Their expressions were gentle, their eyes deep with emotion. They answered every question with honesty and clarity. They spoke of a long history of progress, of a society that once reached for the stars, and of a sudden catastrophe that had forced them to leave everything behind. The conversation was long and thoughtful, and as it unfolded, the human team began to lean toward trust. Yet the test of trust was not just in the words, but in the feelings that emerged from them. In each carefully constructed sentence, there was a hint of vulnerability. The aliens, it seemed, were not powerful conquerors but desperate survivors. Their every word was a call to remember what it meant to help and be helped. Slowly, the human delegation began to feel a cautious hope. They saw the possibility of a friendship that could bridge the vast divide between two worlds. The test of trust, however, was not complete. The final piece of the puzzle was yet to be revealed. The true motive behind the aliens' plea. Was it simply a cry for help, or was there a deeper reason behind their actions? The answer lay in what would come next. For now, the human team had taken the first steps toward opening a door that could change both worlds forever. Their trust was tentative, built on a mix of evidence, emotion, and a desire to reach out to those in need. In the quiet aftermath of the session, as the lights dimmed and the secure channel went silent, humanity stood at a crossroads. The test of trust had shown promise, but it also raised the stakes. The coming days would decide whether the path of compassion would lead to a strong new alliance or if hidden dangers lurked behind the sorrowful plea. For now, the world waited with bated breath, united by a common hope that trust, once placed, would bring a brighter future to all. The first face-to-face encounter. After many days of careful talks through secure channels, the human delegation finally decided it was time for a direct meeting. The chosen place was a quiet open field far from the busy city. The area was marked by a simple wooden platform built for the meeting. A gentle breeze moved through the grass, and the early evening sun cast long shadows across the land. Everyone knew that this face-to-face encounter was a turning point for both sides. On the human side, the team was small but diverse. It included Dr. Elena, whose gentle nature had helped build trust during earlier talks; General Harris, who kept a watchful eye over every detail; and Maya, the young researcher who had shown true passion for understanding the aliens. Each of them felt the weight of responsibility. The alien delegation arrived in their own quiet way. Instead of a grand landing or a show of military power, a smaller craft touched down near the field. Its design was unlike any human machine, smooth and curving, as if shaped by the wind. A ramp slowly lowered to the ground. From the ramp, a group of 3 aliens emerged. They moved in a calm, graceful manner that made them seem almost like figures from a dream. Their skin shimmered in the soft light, and their eyes showed both sorrow and hope. As the aliens reached the platform, there was a brief moment of silence. The humans and aliens studied each other. The tension in the air was mixed with curiosity. Dr. Elena stepped forward first, a gesture that spoke of goodwill and courage. In simple, clear words, she greeted the aliens. "We welcome you to our world. We are here to learn from you and help if we can." Her voice, calm and sincere, broke the silence and set the tone for the meeting. The lead alien, who seemed to be the representative of their group, responded in a soft, musical tone. Though their words were different, the meaning was clear. "We thank you for your kindness. We come with heavy hearts, seeking a safe place and a chance to rebuild what we have lost." The message was delivered not just by words, but through gentle gestures and the warm expression in their eyes. The human delegation listened carefully. General Harris, who had always been a man of action, now found himself asking questions in a quiet and respectful way. "What happened to your people? How did your empire fall?" he asked. The aliens' reply was slow and thoughtful. They explained that long ago, their empire was one of great art and science. They had reached out to the stars in hope and ambition. But a terrible disaster, one that they still could not fully understand, had brought ruin. Their cities lay in ruins, and their people had scattered across the universe. Their plea was a call for help, not a call for conquest. As the conversation deepened, Maya asked about the cultural treasures of the alien race. "Tell us about your songs, your art, your history," she said, her voice full of genuine wonder. The alien representative smiled softly, and in a simple, heartfelt way, they began to describe a culture filled with music, light, and deep connections with nature. They explained that their art was a way to remember the past and heal the present. The human team listened, moved by the richness of a civilization that had known both great beauty and deep loss. Throughout the encounter, both sides showed respect and caution. The humans kept a careful distance, while the aliens moved slowly, ensuring that every gesture was calm and peaceful. The meeting was filled with small but important moments, a shared look of understanding, a quiet pause after an important question, and gentle nods that spoke of a growing bond. In these moments, the barriers between two worlds seemed to fade away. The encounter was not without its challenges. There were moments when miscommunication threatened to break the fragile trust. At one point, a human soldier stepped forward too quickly, causing a ripple of tension. But General Harris's calm command reminded everyone to keep their focus on the purpose of the meeting. Apologies were made, and the moment passed without harm. These small tests only made the meeting more significant. They showed that trust must be built slowly, and that both sides were ready to work through misunderstandings. As the meeting drew to a close, the aliens and humans agreed to share more of their knowledge and to arrange further talks. Both groups knew that this first face-to-face encounter was just the beginning of a longer journey. There were still many mysteries to solve and many wounds to heal. But in that quiet field, under the warm glow of the evening sun, a simple truth had emerged. Even in the face of deep loss and fear, the desire to understand and help could bridge the gap between two very different worlds. The aliens left the field in the same gentle manner they had arrived. Their craft lifted slowly into the sky, leaving behind a sense of calm and a promise of future meetings. The human delegation stood together on the wooden platform, each person feeling that they had witnessed something extraordinary. They knew that the coming days would be filled with hard decisions, but also with hope, a hope born from the belief that every life, no matter how different, deserved to be heard and helped. This first face-to-face encounter marked a new chapter. It was a moment when fear and hope danced together in the light of the setting sun, a moment that promised a future where understanding could overcome the darkness of uncertainty. Hidden agendas revealed. In the days following the face-to-face encounter, a new mystery began to surface. The human delegation, still reeling from the emotional meeting in the open field, received unexpected files from the alien delegation. These files came as secure digital messages, filled with images, recordings, and documents that had not been shown before. At first, the contents seemed to confirm the aliens' sorrow and the collapse of a once great empire. But as the team studied the files more closely, subtle hints of a hidden agenda emerged. Dr. Elena led the research team in a quiet laboratory. The room was filled with soft light from computer screens, and every team member focused intently on the data. As they examined the documents, they noticed that some of the images and details did not match the story that had been told during the meeting. One set of images showed what appeared to be strategic military installations and advanced technology, details that did not fit with the narrative of a dying empire. Instead of ruins and sadness, these images hinted at organized plans and structures designed for defense. Maya, who had grown more confident with each new revelation, asked a difficult question during a late-night meeting. Could it be that there is more to your story than just a plea for help? She asked, addressing the alien representatives during a secure video session. Her voice was calm, but her eyes betrayed the tension of uncertainty. The alien leader paused, and for a moment, the screen flickered with silence. When the reply came, it was measured and careful. Our history is complex. We are a people who have known both greatness and pain. What you see in those images is part of our past, a time when we were prepared for all challenges. Despite the careful words, doubts began to grow among the human leaders. General Harris, who had long warned that trust must be earned, felt his instincts rise. We must consider every possibility, he said during a closed session with his military advisors. While their words seem gentle, these files suggest that they might have kept secrets. We need to know if there is a hidden plan that could put Earth at risk. His worry was not just about the aliens' true intentions, but also about the possibility that their plea might be a part of a larger strategy. The debate intensified as more information came to light. Some team members argued that the advanced installations shown in the images were simply remnants of an old defensive system, not a threat to Earth. They believed that the aliens had only shared a piece of their history, a past filled with preparation for dangers they had faced long ago. Others, however, pointed to the careful way in which the files were transmitted and the choice of what to reveal. Every detail was controlled, and it seemed that the aliens wanted to keep certain parts of their history hidden. A turning point in the investigation came when a decrypted message, hidden within the data files, was discovered by one of the junior technicians. The message, written in a simple but precise language, hinted at an alliance that the aliens once had with a powerful force in their region of space. It spoke of a warning that was never fully heeded and an enemy that was never completely defeated. The message was fragmented, but it raised more questions than it answered. What was this powerful force, and was it still a threat to the aliens, or worse, could it one day bring danger to Earth? This new evidence sparked heated discussions in every corner of the command center. Military advisors prepared for the worst-case scenario. If these aliens have hidden alliances or past conflicts, we must be ready to act, one officer stated firmly. The possibility of an ancient enemy stirring from the shadows made it clear that the situation was far more complex than a simple call for help. On the diplomatic front, Ambassador Reed called for calm and thorough inquiry. "We cannot let fear drive our actions," he insisted. "We must seek the truth behind these files. We owe it to both our people and our new visitors to understand the full story." His appeal for patience was echoed by many who believed that even if there were hidden agendas, careful dialogue could still pave the way for a peaceful solution. Over the next few days, the human delegation worked tirelessly to piece together the fragments of the aliens' past. The researchers analyzed every document, every image, and every piece of data, trying to build a coherent picture of what had happened to the alien empire. They discovered that the advanced installations were part of a defensive network built during a time of war, a war that had ended in a devastating peace that forced the aliens to hide much of their true strength. Slowly, the hidden agendas began to make sense. The aliens had chosen to share only part of their history to gain Earth's trust, leaving out the details of their former military might and the alliances that had once bound them. Their message of peace was genuine, but it was also wrapped in layers of caution and regret. They had learned from a long, painful past that sometimes revealing too much could invite danger. As the investigation reached its climax, the human team faced a difficult decision. The evidence of hidden agendas did not necessarily mean that the aliens planned harm against Earth. Instead, it showed a people scared by history, who had once been ready to fight and had now chosen a different path, a path of humility and sorrow. The human leaders decided that while caution was needed, rejecting the aliens outright would be a mistake. They agreed to continue the dialogue, now with a deeper understanding of the complexities involved. In the quiet of the night, as the team reviewed the final pieces of evidence, a sense of resolve emerged. Humanity would move forward, not with blind trust, but with cautious hope. They had seen the signs of hidden agendas, and in doing so, they had learned that sometimes the past casts long shadows on the present. But it was also in these shadows that the possibility of healing and new beginnings could be found. The hidden agendas had been revealed, and now, with clearer eyes, both worlds would have to decide how to shape their future together. Humanity's unyielding stand. In the wake of all the revelations, the human leadership gathered once more in a secure, brightly lit war room. Maps, charts, and computer screens filled the space, showing a world that was watching and waiting. The evidence of hidden pasts and cautious diplomacy from the alien delegation had stirred deep emotions. Yet now, amid uncertainty and lingering doubts, a new resolve began to take shape among the human leaders, a determination to stand firm, united, and prepared for whatever might come. General Harris addressed the room with a voice that carried both authority and warmth. "We have seen their history, felt their pain, and heard their plea. But we must also remember who we are as a people. We have survived through countless trials by holding on to our strength, our independence, and our unity." His words were simple, yet they resonated deeply with everyone present. Across the table, Dr. Elena nodded in agreement. She had spent long nights poring over the alien files and had grown to understand the delicate balance of their situation. "Our analysis shows that while their past holds secrets, there is also a clear message of hope in their call for help," she explained. "However, we must not forget that our strength lies in being ready to offer help, yet ready to defend our home if needed." Her measured tone reflected the careful balance of compassion and caution that was required at this moment. Ambassador Reed, who had long championed the idea of friendship and understanding, added, "This is not a time for reckless trust. We stand at a crossroads. One path leads us to a potential new alliance that could enrich both our worlds. The other path is to remain isolated and unyielding. I believe that if we move forward together, we will find a way to help without compromising our values." His words sparked quiet murmurs of agreement around the room. Outside the war room, the nation buzzed with anticipation. Communities held vigils and discussions in local halls and on television, each person wondering what the government's next move would be. Despite the tension, a common sentiment was clear. Humanity was ready to take a stand. It was a stand not born out of aggression, but of a desire to protect their home while offering measured support to those in need. A plan soon emerged from the heated yet thoughtful discussions. The decision was clear. A combined force of scientists, diplomats, and military personnel would be assembled to form a special task group. Their mission was twofold. First, they would reach out to the aliens with a message of cautious solidarity, a promise to help, but with firm boundaries. Second, they would prepare defensive strategies to protect Earth in case the hidden dangers hinted at in the alien files ever became a reality. In one memorable session, General Harris looked at a large digital map of the world, dotted with locations where potential risks were identified. "This map reminds us," he said, "that our world is a precious home that must be protected. Our decision to stand firm is not one of isolation, but of responsible guardianship. We will not let fear rule us, but neither will we risk our future without careful planning." The task group also reached out to communities and local leaders across the globe. Public addresses were made, explaining that while the aliens' plea was heard and understood, Earth would maintain a strong and vigilant stance. Leaders emphasized that this was not a time for panic, but for thoughtful, united action. People from different nations, cultures, and backgrounds came together, inspired by the idea that humanity's strength was in its ability to face the unknown with a blend of compassion and caution. As days turned into weeks, preparations continued on both sides. The human delegation sent carefully worded messages back to the alien representatives. These messages reiterated Earth's willingness to help, if the aliens were willing to share more about their needs and their past, while also clearly stating that Earth's safety would always be a top priority. Every message was crafted with care, ensuring that no nuance was lost and that every word carried the weight of a determined yet hopeful world. In these moments, a powerful spirit of unity emerged among the people. The task group's efforts were broadcast in controlled segments to the public, and citizens felt a renewed sense of pride and determination. They were part of something larger than themselves, a global effort to secure a future built on strength, preparedness, and measured kindness. The journey ahead was uncertain. The human delegation knew that many challenges still lay on the horizon: hidden threats from the aliens' past, the possibility of miscommunication, and the ever-present need to safeguard their own planet. But in that moment, humanity's unyielding stand was clear. It was a stand built on years of history, lessons of both triumph and failure, and an unbreakable belief in the resilience of the human spirit. With every plan made, every message sent, and every strategy reviewed, the world edged closer to a future where Earth could both extend a helping hand to those in need and protect itself from unseen dangers. Humanity's unyielding stand was not one of isolation, but of strength, a strength that would guide them through the darkness toward a dawn of cautious hope and new beginnings. The final choice and new dawn. As the final day of deliberation arrived, the human leadership gathered once more in a vast hall filled with natural light. The room was quiet but tense, as every official, scientist, and military leader knew that this meeting would shape the future of Earth. Across the world, people watched with hope and anxiety, waiting for a decision that had been months in the making. At the head of the table sat General Harris, his eyes reflecting the many responsibilities of his role. Beside him, Dr. Elena, Maya, and Ambassador Reed shared the space with other trusted members of the task group. They had listened to every piece of evidence, every message from the alien delegation, and every worry raised by their own people. Now, the final choice lay before them: to open a new door of cautious alliance or to stand apart, protecting Earth at all costs. General Harris began, his voice steady and clear. "Our journey has brought us to a moment of truth. We have seen the hidden parts of their history. We have felt the weight of their sorrow and the strength of our own resolve. Today, we choose a path that shows both our willingness to help and our duty to protect our home. His words resonated in the hall, drawing nods of agreement from those around him. Dr. Elena added, "The evidence shows that the aliens are survivors of a great loss. Their hidden past is filled with moments of pain and regret. We believe that their plea is a cry for help and a request for understanding. We must extend our hand, but do so with clear boundaries and conditions that protect both our people and theirs." Her measured tone balanced the need for compassion with the insistence on caution. Ambassador Reed, who had long believed in the power of dialogue, spoke next. "This is not a time for retreat or fear. It is a time to show that humanity can be both strong and kind. We will offer our help to rebuild their civilization, provided that we work together openly. Trust will be built step by step, as we continue to learn more about each other." His words brought a sense of warmth and possibility to the room. After hours of discussion, debate, and heartfelt moments, the council reached its final decision. They agreed to send a new, expanded delegation to work closely with the aliens. This team would include not only military and scientific experts, but also cultural ambassadors, social workers, and language specialists. Their mission was twofold: to help the alien civilization rebuild what was lost, and to form a strong bond between two very different worlds. In return, Earth would receive detailed information about the aliens' history and technology, which could help humanity better understand the universe. A formal message was then prepared. It was sent in clear, simple language that spoke of unity, strength, and hope. "We have heard your plea. We understand your sorrow and your need for a new beginning. Today, we extend our hand in friendship and partnership. We will work together with care, with caution, and with a shared vision for a better future." This message was broadcast to every corner of Earth and was also transmitted securely to the alien delegation. The response from the aliens came swiftly. In their soft, melodic tone, they expressed deep gratitude and relief. "Your words honor us," they said. "We have lived in fear and isolation for too long. Your trust brings light to our dark past, and we pledge to work with you for a future filled with hope." Their reply, sincere and heartfelt, filled the room with a new energy. It was a sign that despite the pain of hidden agendas and uncertain histories, both worlds were ready to move forward. In the days that followed, preparations began for the first joint project. Human engineers and alien technicians met in a specially designed facility on Earth, where they would start rebuilding an important archive of the alien civilization. This archive, a collection of art, music, and scientific knowledge, had been lost in the chaos of their past. Working side by side, both humans and aliens discovered that they shared a common language of creativity and hope. Every new collaboration, every shared idea, strengthened the bond between them. Communities around the globe celebrated this new chapter with cautious optimism. Leaders visited neighborhoods, explaining that while there were risks, the choice to engage with the aliens was a brave step toward a brighter future. Public forums and town hall meetings were held, where citizens could ask questions and express their feelings. The message was clear: Earth was no longer alone, and its strength came from its unity and its willingness to help others. As the sun set on that historic day, the world felt a shift, a new dawn rising on the horizon. Humanity had made its final choice. It was a choice not made out of fear or isolation, but out of the belief that even in the vast darkness of space, hope could be found. In the quiet moments before nightfall, many looked up at the stars, feeling that the universe was now a little smaller, a little kinder, and full of possibilities. The final decision marked the beginning of a long journey toward healing and growth. The hand extended in trust was not a sign of weakness, but of the deep courage that defines humanity. As Earth and the alien delegation began their joint work, a new era emerged, one where the mistakes of the past could be overcome through cooperation, understanding, and a shared vision of a peaceful future. The final choice had been made, and with it, a promise of a new dawn for both worlds.